can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, how we doing out there all across this great land of ours and around the world? It's that time once again, time for the Conservative Syndicate coming to you live right now, coast to coast and around the world. Nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos, 3 days in a row. You know, they say third time is a charm. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm here. I be here now.
Okay, all right. So, hey, we're gonna, in honor of the Wisconsin primary, I was jumping up and down last night to see my guy Ted Cruz just whomped the big one. Trump got schlonged, if I can use that phrase, and I'm just happy. So I thought we'd spend the day today talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, there you go. Bring us down.
Yeah. Let's focus a little bit on some of the things that are going on here.
Really want to focus on Hillary too much, you know, because she goes. She's got that Malte Sung freaking jumpsuit on. I'm waiting for her to just have the little red book and everything. But the other, I saw that gold one she was wearing. It looked like something out of Star Trek. It was really horrible. So I really don't want to focus too much on Hillary because that's just. You know, I'm just getting over this illness and everything, so I don't want to go relapse.
Don't want to relapse. Well, I think of that when she wears that orange jumpsuit. I actually think of the old Star Trek series that was out there. You know, there was a bunch of spin-offs on Star Trek, and there was first, the original Star Trek, then the Next Generation, and some other stuff out there. But my favorite spin-off was Deep Space Nine. And there was I can't remember the name of the girl right now, but she was the head honcho, second in charge, like executive officer of the space station. And I think it was Barter, I think was the name of the planet she was from. The space station was all the other planets out there, all the other life forms in this international or interstellar federation. And it was really great because it was a continuing soap opera. It wasn't like Star Trek, where every week it was a different episode.
Something new, yeah.
Yeah, this was like a soap opera, If you can imagine having sexual relations with a shapeshifter. Odo, the chief of security, was a shapeshifter and one of the founders of humanity, the idea of evolution kind of thing. So it was, I loved that show. I used to watch it when I was going to Bible college. And I was pulling security during graveyard, working through Bible college, and it was on like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got hooked on this stuff. It was really funny. But that's what she reminds me of, because the uniform of this commander was orange like that. It was an orange jumpsuit, but it had a nice little utility belt like Batman, that kind of thing. So it was every time I see that, I don't know why that flashes into my mind, but maybe because Hillary is from another planet. I don't know. Well,
she would quite possibly. I don't know. It does, the laws of justice don't seem to work around her. But yeah, every time she comes out, it looks like, hey, what is that? It's like some kind of far out. I'm just waiting for her to have that little communicator thing where she touches up there and she can talk to Bill or something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll look it up during the break. I want to look it up during the break what the name of the commander was, and it was just because they had some really neat characters on that show. There was I forget what they. I'll have to look it up here during the break just so I don't sound like a blithering idiot right now. But it's funny because one of the human life forces out there was a race of people called, believe it or not, I think it was the Kardashians.
They are from another planet. It is true.
Yeah, but the different ones. These guys were slave traders. So it was like,
And again, you said so. Oh my goodness! Stop. Stop.
So yeah, it was a really neat show. I think it's still out there someplace, probably syndicated someplace. But
So you were screaming on Wisconsin last night, then, huh?
I know. Well, I was happy to see. I was happy to see Trump lose by a big margin. I thought it was good that this finally. There seems to be some cracks in the armor. The Teflon is wearing a little bit thin. He's starting to be held a little bit accountable for some of the things he's saying. And it's not. The thing with Trump is it's not so much that I disagree with what he says. There's a lot of things he has said over the course of his campaign that I'm totally on board with. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But it's just the whole, the arrogance behind it. It's like listening to Obama with a worse haircut.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like instead of like having a little bit of humility, he sends out what he sent out. His message last night was Lion Ted's a puppet to the Republican establishment. And that's the message he sends out. He's, if you're gonna be out there and you're gonna start throw crap at everybody, expect some crap to come your way. But he doesn't stop throwing crap. He doesn't care. Yeah,
and that's the thing. When it starts coming his way, he gets all bent out of shape. Like, he's being treated unfairly, and this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like, dude, you start half this crap, And so why don't you just buck up? And deal with it, that kind of thing. On the other hand, I watched Ted Cruz's speech in Wisconsin, and I was rather impressed with the idea that he's actually sounded, one, he sounded very presidential to me. Second, he focused on Hillary. He said very little about what was going on with Trump or Kasich or the Republican Party. He talked about unifying the party, which I'm not so sure I really like what he means by that because I know what he's doing to do that. But he did talk about unity of the party and beating Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, that's what needs to be done.
Yeah, they should be focusing on Hillary because no matter what she is going to be or whatever the Democrat's going to be that's going to run after their convention process and they nominate somebody, however they do it. But yeah, she, the Democrat is the person that should be focusing on. But unify the party, I think that's a lot of, delegates, if you're a Marco Rubio delegate, you can get on board with the Cruz people, and which is absolutely, positively within, it's good form. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing underhanded about that or anything else. That's exactly how this game is played.
Yeah, and what I'm really incensed about, out of all the stuff that's happened in this campaign, I'm really incensed with the all of a sudden the National Enquirer has become a relevant journalistic source of information.
They got credence when they broke the John Edwards story.
Well, here you got apparently an attorney who used to be the attorney for a dead madam. I guess the Washington Madam, I guess her name was. And I think her little black book is taking down more than one person, I guess. But this attorney supposedly has the black book of this dead madam, and it supposedly had Ted Cruz's name in it, and it's been associated with at least 5 hookers out there. And so you see the article in the National Enquirer and pixelated pictures of the supposed women that he's had these affairs with, and you have to buy the National Enquirer to find out who they really are.
Really? Sure.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, with all the people that dislike Ted Cruz in the Senate and all the heat that he's taken since he came into the Senate, why is this thing now surfacing just now? The only thing that came to my mind was Gloria Allred. This is a Gloria Allred tactic of throwing something out there that implicates or implies, insinuates and that in the media today, that becomes fact.
Well, I mean, I'll take it right back to the Supreme Court. How about Anita Hill?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's probably where it really started in terms of being able to do political damage by just throwing somebody out there. And nobody's talked to any of these women. I think there were two. One of them used to be work with Cruz years ago when they worked for Reagan on a campaign or something. And she's just flat out denied, you guys are crazy. This stuff never happened. There's that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, because of the public opinion, because of some of the people I know, quote unquote, Christian conservatives are buying into it. Oh, yeah, Cruz is going to go down. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Don't you understand what's going on here? Are you that naive? Of course, these people all support John Kasich. So there's a question of intelligence there to begin with. But but the whole idea is that we're just going to throw it out there. We're just going to throw it out there and see if it does any damage. Anyway, guys, we got to go to our first break. When we do come back, I've got several things here, stuff that I know you haven't even heard of because I'm still in the discovery stage right now. I'm going to talk about the Panama Papers a little bit and how Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama set the stage for this to come down. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos. And I want to kick this segment off here. I've got some sound clips we're going to play today, and they're all about Hillary. And today is going to be pretty much all about Hillary, just because I feel so good about what's going on right now in terms of what happened last night in Wisconsin. I really think that Wisconsin, this primary last night, just might shift the winds of change a little bit here and make this a little bit more exciting. With a lot of the western states, I think right now what I'm looking forward to is the New York primary, what's coming up. Let's see how Cruz does against Trump in his own home state. I'm not saying that Cruz will win, but I'd like to see him make a nice showing, because then that leads out here to California. See, anything can happen out here in California right now. Believe it or not, at least on the Republican side, there has been some major shifts towards the more conservative way of looking at things. Of course, we're being stifled by, Governor Moonbeam out here, and the districting out here, which has really hampered us a lot. But there has been some major shifts in the way that things are going out here in the Republican Party. And we're going to hear a little bit about that tomorrow. I'm going to have my good friend Deborah Pauly on tomorrow. She used to be one of our contributors here at the Conservative Syndicate. She is running for state assembly out here this time around. And so I'm going to put her on the air. I'm going to give her some time because she needs it for her campaign. So we're going to do that, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in California. But now I do want to talk about Hillary, but I want to just kind of update you guys. I mentioned before in the last segment about Deep Space Nine, and I want to get the names right here so you understand. The name that I'm looking at, the first officer, and her name in the show is Kira Nears, and she is a Bajorian militia officer. She comes from the planet of Bajor. And the Bajor underwent this massive occupation by the Kardashians. Okay. And so she became this Deep Space Nine. This space station was set at the end of a wormhole that comes out right around the planet Bajor. And so that's what the general plot line is. She's the second in command, the XO of Deep Space Nine, because the space station sits off the horizon of their planet Bajor. And Benjamin Sisko is the commanding officer. He feels the affirmative action there. He's black. They have Odo, who is the changeling or the shapeshifter. And the list goes on. But some of my characters, my favorite character was Quark. Quark is a Ferengi, and all these people do is talk about making money, and they gauge their wealth by how much latinum they can acquire. And he's the comic relief in the thing. He's the bartender, but he's also this massive, he just loves getting his hands on latinum, and so he's always cutting these deals that always puts the space station in danger, that kind of stuff. So it's just an ongoing soap opera out there in Deep Space Nine. I want to fill you in. Some of the characters in this thing are just great. It's just one of the best Star Trek series I think I've ever seen. Just because.
And that was late 70s, early 80s, right?
Yeah, it was.
Before the Kardashians became something.
I think it was more into the 90s. I think this particular one came out in 1990 or something like that.
Boy, oh my!
It was in. Let's see. They talked about here. It was in. They don't. 1999. From 1993. From 1993 to 1999.
No, was that recent? Wow.
Yeah, it ran 6 years. And the reason it came out later is because they have an actual interstellar federation, and the interstellar federation are the good planets, and they're facing off with the Dominion, which are the bad guys. Okay, that's where the Klingons and the people like that hang out at. So it's really funny. It's just a real good series. Anyway. I said all that just to remind you, that's what I see when I see Hillary Clinton in a jumpsuit, in an orange jumpsuit. I see Major Kears from Bajor. That's what I'm saying. And fighting the occupation of the Kardashians. Okay.
I just think she's got, stock in Chairman Mao's freaking fashion design or something, because they all look like something out of Chairman Mao's collection.
Well, I think that's what they wear wherever the Roswell dummies came from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going back to that. They were all born within 9 months of this. The Roswell.
Yeah, if you take the robes off all those Martians on Mars Attack, that's what they're wearing underneath those. That's why they wear the robes, because they know it's obnoxious.
So Bill will be able to tell us that she's got extra nipples or something, then, right?
Excuse me.
Sorry. Now everybody's going to get ill.
All right. Now, here we go.
Would you say that federation was? There was a federation, the deep space thing?
I'm sorry?
There was some federation of planets or something, you said?
Yeah, it's a federation of planets. What has happened is, many, many years have gone by. In fact, I think the time frame of this is in the year 2369.
Oh, okay. So a couple hundred years from now.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of this thing you wanted to talk about, this International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. Like, that crap ain't made up. Really? We're supposed to believe these people.
Yeah.
They're an international consortium.
Yeah, and
investigative journalists, Nova. Talk about oxymorons.
Yeah, and what's the other one? There's another website out there that I see every now and then called Live Science. Have you ever seen that website?
I might have seen it, but I'm just bringing this up because you want to talk about Panama Papers. And
I know.
So I just found that kind of funny, just the way this is coming down.
Oh yeah, Well, here's the thing. Let me skip over here because I have another topic I'm going to talk about later. Believe it or not.
Oh, there's more.
It has to do with Muslim immigrants over in Sweden. Or Switzerland. I'm sorry, Switzerland. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's some real interesting changes in the scenery over in Switzerland. Anyway, these Panama Papers, I have to be honest, I didn't know about this until like last week or so. But the reason I wanted to talk about the Panama Papers first, before we get into the actual quote-unquote scandal involved in all this, is that we still have the trade, the Trans-Pacific Partnership,
the TPP?
Still sitting out there, waiting for Congress, quote unquote, to ratify it. And the reason this all kind of fell together for me the other day, and the way it fell together was I had some people on Facebook talking about how Cruz was a traitor because he supported the TPP. And he changed his votes, and that's all political and this, that, and the other. And I had to remind these people, I had to inform these people that the Trans-Pacific Partnership has yet to be passed.
That's
what
correct.
you're talking about is the Trans-Pacific Adjustment Package, TPA. And Cruz did do a 180 on that. At first, he wanted to do it, and then when he entered the presidential race, he went against it. And, I would agree that it was probably a political maneuver. But the point being is that everybody thinks it's that we have this great or this not so great Trans-Pacific Partnership already out there and operating. So when I saw this Panama paper thing, I started checking it out. Sure enough, this is a trade agreement that we had with Panama that was initiated by Barack Obama and supported and endorsed by Hillary Clinton. In fact, she went out and gave talks on this and some of her $250,000 speeches, going out to all these Wall Street people, standing in front of all these rich corporation talking heads and talking about what a great deal this was going to be. It was going to be, I believe it's Panama, Colombia, and one other southern nation down there, down in that neck of the woods here. I'd have to look it up here. I'm in the process of discovery, so if I don't have all my facts together right now, just bear with me. I'm just trying to get this out there to you as quick as I can. But really what happened was Hillary Clinton had put this whole thing, she went out there endorsing this thing. This was going to bring all this money into our economy and everything else. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because Bernie Sanders, as a senator from Vermont, was totally against it. And the reason he was totally against it was he said, or he informed Congress that the problem we have with Panama is that they are one of the most corrupt nations down there in terms of letting American corporations shelter money down there, kind of like Swiss bank account kind of thing. And he was saying they're second to none in the corruption and their ability and their willingness to let large corporations hide millions and billions of dollars free from the IRS, the eye of the IRS, and he was totally against it. So this kind of the whole thing all played out now is because one of the things that Hillary Clinton is trying to do is she's trying to move to the left with Bernie Sanders while at the same time trying to discount that Bernie Sanders is actually a Democrat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what she's trying to do, she's trying to hijack Bernie Sanders' ideology, but call it Democrat and say, well, Bernie really isn't even a Democrat, that kind of thing. So it's just really interesting. So what I want to do here first, I want to play this clip for you guys because this one of my, I've said this several times on the show. If you let a leftist or progressive talk long enough, because they are so prone to lying, it's sociopathic almost, and they lie and they spin and they blame, and I don't know how they keep their facts together. I think that's probably why they have so many aides, is that, okay, you're in charge of this lie category and you're in charge of this lie category, and then everybody just keep me informed when I go out to talk what lie category I'm operating in, that kind of thing. And so this is Bill Clinton 2 weeks ago at a fundraiser talking to people, and not everybody in the crowd was a Clinton supporter, okay? So he's trying to lay out the thing with, you heard Hillary Clinton last week talking in front of another fundraiser, and what she was saying, something along the lines of, you may not support me, but I support you, that kind of thing. And Bill Clinton is out campaigning for his wife. And I wanted to use this clip just to give you kind of an overview of where I'm going with this during the course of our dialogue today. So here's Bill Clinton in Washington, I think it was in Spokane, Washington, talking to a group of potential voters.
If you don't believe we can all grow together again, if you don't believe we're ever going to grow again, if you believe it's more important to relitigate the past, there may be many reasons that you don't want to support. But if you believe we can all rise together, if you believe we've finally come to the point where we can put the awful legacy of the last 8 years behind us and the 7 years before that when we were practicing trickle-down economics and no regulation in Washington, which is what caused the crash, then you should vote for her because she's the only person who basically has good ideas, will tell you how she's going to pay for them, can be commander-in-chief, and is a proven change maker with Republicans and Democrats and independents alike.
So that's Bill Clinton. That's Bill Clinton talking about the terrible legacy of the last 8 years. And, of course, the 7 years before that.
So horrible. Those darn Republicans, they've ruined it for us the last 8 years.
Well, yeah. So here we have Bill Clinton out there informing everybody that if you're sick and fed up with the last 8 years, which, by the way, happened to be your president, Mr. Clinton, and the guy that your wife is saying she will continue to do what he's doing, if you're sick and tired of that, and then he makes this one comment about the last 8 years, and the 7 years before that when we were practicing trickle-down economics, which caused the crash. See, I did that did not escape my keen ear. The crash came about due to subprime lending, which was created by Jimmy Carter through the Redevelopment and Reinvestment Act when he was in office, and rightfully so ignored by Ronald Reagan. And if you don't know what that means, what that Investment Act was about, it was the granting of subprime loans to people that may not qualify for the loans, and guarantee that those loans would be backed up by Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Okay? And when Clinton came into office, he was buddies with Ron Johnson, who was the guy who was the head of Freddie Mac. And they accelerated this subprime lending and went gaga with it. Okay?
Yep.
And just went completely off the handle with it. And that created the housing boom.
Well, let's just remember this, too. Republicans told them this is going to fail. This is a house of cards, no pun intended, and we need to stop this. And it was ignored by those that were in charge because it was a democratically controlled Congress. And people like Barney Frank said, "Oh, no way, no way, no way." Yeah. Yes way.
Yeah. So
let's keep that in mind.
The crash was created by the subprime thing that was initiated with Jimmy Carter and accelerated through Bill Clinton, ignored and left alone by Ronald Reagan and George Bush, both Bushes. We gotta lay some of the blame where it's supposed to be laid. But the point being is that the crash was created by Bill Clinton. It wasn't created by George W. Bush. We got to go to a break. I lost time here. We got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue this. I got a couple other clips here to really I really want to accentuate and underline where we're going with this today as far as Hillary Clinton. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, man, prophet of the airways, along with my co-host, Joe. You can't handle the truth, Hakos. And we're talking about this situation with the Panama Papers. And there's a couple of things I want to do with this. I hope to accomplish today. One, talk about how Obama has negotiated past trade agreements in light of what sits before us now. The Trans-Pacific Partnership has yet to be ratified, but I'm not real sure how that's going to play out here over the course of time. But there has been some other trade deals that Obama's gotten us into. And now the Panama Papers scandal that's taking place right now has the familiar stench that I believe is indicative of what is going on with Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. There seems to be some real similar strains as to how this stuff plays out. But what I want to do here is I'm trying to lay out to you right now the fact that Hillary Clinton is not even, she said a few weeks ago, she's not a natural politician. And I actually believe that. I don't think she's a natural anything except a natural moron. But the point being is that she plays for her own personal gain. And that has, I guess, been the reason why she makes some audaciously stupid decisions in terms of how she goes about conducting political business. Now, what I'm going to play for you next here, I played for you before we went to break, Bill Clinton talking about the terrible legacy, the failure of the legacy of the last 8 years. Now, he tried to walk that comment back and say it was more about the Republican Party obstructing Obama than it was anything else. But I don't buy that for a minute, because nothing's really improved that much under Obama. In fact, nothing's really improved at all. He had nothing to do with this economy, if there is even a recovery. Corporate people and industry and business figure out how to work around the system no matter what's going on. And if there's been any improvement, it's because that's what they've done. They've learned how to work around the regulations and everything else, and they adjust. That's what they do. That's why they keep in business. But Joe Biden here, because one of the things Hillary Clinton's trying to play now is that she's like Bernie Sanders. She's really aware of the income equality gap, and she's really aware of the dangers and all the bad things that corporate America has done in widening that income gap and taking advantage of the poor working man and this, that, and the other. And this is Joe Biden. Just shortly after the Clinton campaign and Bernie Sanders campaign began last year, I want you to listen closely to what Joe Biden says here about Hillary Clinton. Hang on, let me cue it up. Okay, here it is.
The fate of Hillary Clinton's campaign hanging in part on whether the Obama administration presses criminal charges over her email, Vice President Joe Biden keeps tweaking Clinton and praising Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders for highlighting income inequality.
It's relatively new for Hillary to talk about that. Hillary's focus has been on other things up to now, and that's been Bernie's. No one questions Bernie's authenticity on those issues.
When Biden clarified, saying he meant Clinton had been focused on foreign policy, he built up Bernie.
Bernie is pushing the envelope on this.
Out of the blue today, Clinton in Iowa touted her fights against, yes, income inequality and big paychecks on Wall Street.
So don't talk to me about standing up to corporate interests and big powers. I've got the scars to show for it.
Clinton's attacks are sharpening as she struggles to energize the left. Liberal advocacy group MoveOn.org, which was created to shield Bill Clinton from impeachment, today endorsed Sanders. As a new Monmouth University poll found, Sanders winning by 14 points in New Hampshire. The same poll in November had Clinton winning by 3 points.
Becoming a grandmother only kind of further deepened my mother's commitment to the work that clearly she's been called to her whole professional life.
Sanders is not buying that softer image. He told reporters he's under attack because Clinton is in trouble.
All right, so there's several things in that clip there. You got any initial comments, Joe?
I just think it's hilarious that she would even come out and say anything like that.
Yeah, it's
she
amazing.
has the scars to prove it. Those are the same people that helped her get elected in New York, for crying out loud, as a senator. It's just, it's hilarious, man.
Oh yeah, well when I offer some of the documentation that I have here, in terms of what she just said there, and in terms of what went on down there with the Panama deal, with how this scandal is unfolding as we sit here. Yeah, it's amazing, but it indicates that she is not a politician by nature. She just, somebody probably told her, hey, you got to go this way. Oh, okay, that kind of thing. She's not somebody who can, she doesn't remember what she does. I think that's the point, because anybody that could remember anything that they did to the degree that she's done it, or she just thinks that she's exempt. I think that maybe it's more along that line.
A lot of that, because it's a vast right-wing conspiracy against her.
Yeah, it's that vast right-wing conspiracy. You're absolutely right. So, but I was wondering, Joe, did you catch the little reference there to MoveOn.org?
Yes, I did catch that, and that organization, the George Soros-funded organization, is supporting Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they not only that, but they are the organization that has been mentoring all these people that have been going to Donald Trump rallies and disrupting the rallies.
Well, yes, they have. They've been doing this all along.
Yeah, so we got MoveOn.org, who I thought MoveOn.org was one of Obama's.
Wall Street. Don't forget the Occupy Wall Street crap that they were involved with.
Yeah, well, I originally thought MoveOn.org was one of the outreaches of Barack Obama, but it wasn't. It was created or organized back during the Monica Lewinsky scandal to deal with the press coverage, the bad press coverage, and has morphed into basically the strong arm of the DNC, and now is endorsing Bernie Sanders, and also mentoring Black Lives Matter people to go out there and teach them how to become effective community organizers by disrupting rallies, which is that
rallies and defecating on the flag, a U.S. flag, and
right,
all that good stuff. Yeah,
and that all comes from Sal Alinsky, the Midwest Academy, where Obama was mentored and brought up and trained. And also, I heard last. After the Chicago deal that went down there a couple of weeks ago, Bill Ayers was on the airways talking about how we are finally doing something. Bill Ayers is back and operating somewhere along the line here. Don't be surprised if you see a resurfacing of the Weather Underground somehow. This stuff this has been going on for decades, folks. That's the thing. Nobody's been paying attention to it, and now they've got that opportunity. They've got that. Barack Obama kind of paved the way, kind of licensed. Anything goes. And so that's what they're doing now. They're trying to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to give you kind of an oversight there. Joe Biden saying Hillary Clinton really never paid any attention to this income gap situation here. That's always been Bernie Sanders. Nobody questions that that's all Bernie Sanders is about, because that's all.
really sounds like the Obama administration is fully behind Hillary in her campaign.
Well, the way I keep hearing it, the little dribs and drabs that get out there, you kind of wonder if the Obama administration is just itching to come out and endorse Bernie Sanders. I think if he really thought he could get away with it and not taint his quote-unquote legacy, he probably would, But, he was down in Florida. I guess he endorsed Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I guess that's about as far left as he's willing to go, because right now it's all about his legacy. He wants to leave as the legacy of the first black president. That's the thing, and all the great things he did. Now, here's what I want to do here. Where are we at? 40, 45. Okay, we got to go to a break here. I'm going to come back. I'm going to play you two clips. One is a clip of Hillary Clinton talking up the Panama trade deal, and the next one will be Bernie Sanders opposing it. And listen to the reasoning behind both of them. And I got to tell you, Bernie Sanders is spot on. I hate to admit it, but old Uncle Bernie had a moment of sanity somewhere in here, and he saw what was coming down the pipe. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We got a lot more for you.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. Okay, we're back. You are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hickos, and we're talking about the developing story on the Panama Papers scandal. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on with all of this, and as I'm sorting through the details, but one thing we do know that there is apparently some banks down in Panama where not only American corporations can hide money, but apparently some of the other government heads, like out in Russia, places like that. The Netherlands, I believe, is being indicted in this. The allegations toward them.
Oh, yeah, they're being brought up in. There's no indictments going on yet.
No, just allegations at this point. I should be correct in my jargon here. Allegations being leveled out there that there are apparently some good bank accounts down there in Panama that international heads are being able to hide money, whether it be corporate or political or whatever. So now that brings me back here to my comment that I've made several times on the show here about the FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton. And everybody is talking constantly about it being about her email server and security breaches, classified information that was doctored, classified information that she claims didn't know it was classified. Even information that was born classified, though it didn't have a marking, she's too dumb to know. But we also know that some of the emails have revealed that she instructed people to take the markings off because they were having fax problems. And so, well, I need the information now, or the fax machine doesn't work. Just take the classification off and send it to me to my BlackBerry, that kind of thing. Now, and so everybody's making this big deal about this. She's going to be indicted, because David Petraeus, all that stuff is going on. My claim is that if she gets indicted on anything, it's going to be corruption using the Clinton Foundation for pay for play, okay, that kind of thing. Bringing money in, laundering it into the Clinton Foundation, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit of detail today. I'm going to give you some facts regarding some of the corporations, American corporations, that have actually been doing this for quite some time now. And you'll see how this all ties in with the political positions and that Hillary Clinton is taking now compared to positions she had back before Barack Obama shifted everything far left. And the Democrat Party's always been far left, but he shifted it in a way like he started doing stuff about it. Okay, he started using it, that kind of thing. So this first clip here I'm going to play for you is Hillary Clinton talking about the Panama trade agreement and what is going down. They were just on the verge of initiating this trade agreement. So this is Hillary Clinton.
One of our top goals is to complete free trade agreements with Colombia and Panama. Today, I'm happy to report we are making great progress on both agreements. We have worked with our Panamanian and Colombian partners to address key concerns and forge broader bipartisan support in the Congress, just as we did with the South Korean free trade agreement. Panama passed important new laws on labor rights and tax transparency. Now, I think this is good news for the people of all of our countries. In the United States alone, these three agreements, Colombia, Panama, the Andean trade preference renewal, could add more than $10 billion to our economic output, and that would translate into some 70,000 new jobs for American workers. And by adding Colombia and Panama to our existing FTAs, we will create an unbroken chain of economic integration from the start of the Rockies in Canada all the way to the end of the Andes.
Okay, so you notice the key words there in all that jargon right there was Panama shows a very extensive transparency when it comes to taxes. Okay, now just think about this just for a second here. They made a deal with Panama and Colombia. And one of the things we see all the time with this administration is this tendency to want to negotiate, barter, and make deals with countries that are known for their tyrants in control of government. Now, why would we want to be dealing with somebody like Colombia to begin with? Why is that? If they're a dictatorship, who was the former dictator of Colombia? Was that Hugo? Something?
No, that was Venezuela.
Venezuela. Okay, I can't off the top of my head recall who was the head of the Colombian government down there, but Colombia is known for their drug trade. Okay, they're one of those big drug centers. They're not known for above-board politics and government. It's very tyrannical, just like Venezuela. There's no difference there.
It's like Mexico.
Yeah, so why are we cutting deals with these people? Well, we're cutting deals with these people because there's more going on than anybody that they want to, than more than what they want to reveal. Now, I want to play you the clip. This is Bernie Sanders in one of his moments of clarity. He actually sounds like a senator here, and he's talking against the Panama situation here. Bernie Sanders.
Say a word about the Panama Free Trade Agreement. Now, Panama is a very small country. Its entire annual economic output is only $26.7 billion a year, or about 0.2% of the American economy. So I think no one is going to legitimately stand up here and say that trading with such a small country is going to significantly increase American jobs. Then why would we? Why would we be considering a trade agreement with Panama? What's going on there? Well, It turns out, Mr. President, that Panama is a world leader when it comes to allowing wealthy Americans and large corporations to evade U.S. taxes by stashing their cash in offshore tax havens. And the Panama Free Trade Agreement would make this bad situation much worse. As I'm a member of the Budget Committee, as you are, Mr. President, and we have heard testimony time and time again that our country is losing up to $100 billion every year as corporations stash their money in postal addresses in the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and in Panama. And this trade agreement makes that situation even worse.
Okay, so there's Bernie Sanders putting a lot of logic behind his actual thoughts as to why Panama, why would we want to be involved with a deal with Panama, a country so small that there's no way they could be generating or help generate jobs in the numbers that Hillary Clinton was talking about, 70,000 jobs. He's saying, that can't happen. That can't happen. The country's too small. The amount of resources they have, the amount of business that they generate down there isn't worth even looking at. So why would we do this? It would be because we can stash cash down there. Corporations and Americans, wealthy Americans, can hide their money down there and evade paying income tax. And apparently he's addressing the president. So when he's talking about this, he's talking directly to Barack Obama.
No. He's talking to the whoever's presiding over the Senate that day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Oh, he kept referring to him as president. So
that's what they call that person that's in charge of the Senate that day.
Oh, okay. But the idea is, he says, we have been talking about this for a while, and you know that this is bad news. And it got through anyways because Barack Obama wanted it. Okay, but Hillary Clinton, this kind of stuff would license or give somebody like Hillary Clinton, who can't think of this stuff on her own. She's probably sitting at home with Bill at dinner time talking about this thing, and Bill's going, you know what? If we started a foundation, we could do the same thing. And we could funnel money in from all these corporations and this, that, and the other, and we could do all this stuff too. We could we could make millions and millions of dollars by doing this, taking money from these people, and we'll cover it up. This is how we'll cover it. We'll do speeches for them, and we'll get anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000. I think Clinton's earned up to $1 million on a couple of his speeches. The ones over in Russia that involved the uranium transportation from Colorado up to Canada and then over to Russia. I think he was paid $1 million at one speech that he went to over there. So it's like this kind of stuff is a preamble to what we're looking at now in terms of the FBI investigation and corruption charges that could be hanging over Hillary Clinton here as this thing goes on. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We're at the top of the hour here. It's time for the Edwards Notebook. Because I have, when we come back, I'm going to share with you a couple of articles that I found today about this very thing, how corporations funnel money into these organizations and into hidden bank accounts in places like Panama, the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, all these other places. Okay, so stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. It's time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll pay some bills, and we'll be back.
When I was a little boy growing up in Cleveland, my dad often talked about loyalty to family and loyalty to country. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, if there are inner squabbles within a family or nation, the last thing a family leader like a dad or president of a nation should ever do is publicly proclaim that they welcome criticism from one of their biggest enemies. But that is exactly what President Obama did during his visit to Cuba. To quote Mr. Obama, quote, I actually welcome President Castro commenting on areas he feels we are falling short, unquote. I find this totally not right, considering that Cuban leaders are brutes who lock up citizens for going to church and have totally decimated the Cuban economy. Obama doesn't need any help in ruining the U.S. economy, by the way. Besides, Cuban leaders annually school Congressional Black Caucus members on how to dismantle American life through disruption and deception. Mr. Obama's faulty judgment is a sad reflection of the bad judgment that American voters made in the last presidential election. Prayerfully, the next choice made for U.S. president will actually benefit our republic, who, for starters, would be loyal to to America. I'm Ron Edwards.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, we are back. We are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate Hour 2, coming to you live coast to coast, nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, the Conservative Syndicate. And we're glad you took the time to join us. I hope you got something on that first hour. I tried to simplify it by playing clips. Sometimes it's better just to hear it from the horse's mouth, per se, or in this case, hear it from the ass's mouth, okay? The Democrats, the donkeys, okay? I'm not making any vulgar accusations there, just kind of using the symbol for what it is, okay? Now, the Panama Papers. I think before I proceed any further with this, I need to point out to you what they are about, what it is actually occurring here. The Panama Papers it's a bunch of papers, obviously, which allegedly revealed a clandestine network involving associates of Russian President Vladimir Putin and business ties between a member of FIFA's ethics committees and men of the United States who have been indicted for corruption. Now, FIFA, I'm not sure what FIFA means, but I believe it has to do with I thought it was could have been the soccer organization. But anyway, what this basically is that there is a conglomeration, or there is a network of people out there internationally that are all kind of in cahoots with each other. And there's 11 million documents here, which and it goes back about 40 years. And they're all connected to Panama law firm Mossack Fonseca, which is an offshore drilling outfit. Okay? And I said all this stuff is kind of unfolding as we talk about it here. So I'm trying to give you what I have been able to pull out so far from what is out there right now. So what it is there's some kind of network going on internationally, involved some of the associates of Russian President Vladimir Putin and some of the international business ties between a member of FIFA's ethics committee and men whom the United States have indicted for corruption. Now, it lists 12 current or former world leaders, as well as 128 other politicians and public officials. Now, I haven't heard so much as to who these people are. There have been a few. As I said, somebody was mentioned over from Finland, Iceland. The Iceland Prime Minister office said that the offshore firm he's linked to was a holding company for his wife's assets. So there's people over in Iceland. Britain's involved, apparently. France, Australia, and Mexico. There is Uruguay as another country that's being tied up in this. All these third world countries, although Britain and France don't fall in, and even Australia, but all these other countries, basically what they're saying is that money is being channeled into these banks down in Panama to be hidden for tax purposes. That's really what it's all about. That's the gist of it. The gist of it. And it falls right in, like I said, it falls right in with so much of what we talk about in this show in terms of what we call creative destruction. Creative destruction is, as I have defined it before, the process of wealth distribution from one class to another. It is basically the process by which legally money is taken from those who have it and redistributed in many ways to those who don't, or those who have it and want more of it, that kind of thing. And so it is basically building a different class of aristocracy, that kind of thing, aristocrats, okay? A new class of aristocrats. Boy, that didn't come out right. Okay, now, when we talk about this, and I'm talking about the double-sidedness of Clinton, that's what I tried to focus on, either the double-sidedness or the flip-flopping of Hillary Clinton. Somebody who, for the most part of her political career, has been probably more moderate. She's been very liberal in her ideology, but very moderate in her actual application, as was her husband. Bill Clinton didn't have any problem making deals with Republican Congress because he was benefiting from it. He was benefiting at that time with his ties to Freddie Mac, Jim Johnson out there, who was running Freddie Mac, and who the subprime lending scandal was escalated, and they both made a whole lot of money from that. Hillary tells you that they were broke when Bill Clinton left office. That's not true. There was a lot of money probably down in one of these Panama bank accounts that was never accounted for, never appeared anywhere on the books anywhere. But I wanted to get into this thing, Bernie Sanders, the clip that we played for you, talking about how Panama is this clandestine banking operation that allows people to hide billions of dollars and in doing so, evade having to pay any kind of tax on it. Well, one of the claims that's been coming out here, and one of the things Bernie Sanders has been pointing out about Hillary Clinton, is the fact that she is a friend of Wall Street. She's out there attacking Wall Street because Bernie was attacking it. And Bernie's always attacked Wall Street. He's been from the get-go he is a socialist. And he is from the get-go been about the Bolsheviks, about the people that are out there making money off the backs of the poor working class and income equality. And that is Bernie Sanders. That is who he has been. It is who he is. And it will probably be who he continues to be till whatever day God chooses to take him off this earth. So, having said all that, Clinton has had to shift left because Bernie has found a following. He has found a movement, and it's in the youth movement. The majority, although not all, but the majority of his support is coming from the college crowd. And he is garnering some support in the black community. Not enough so far to really make a dent in Clinton's delegate count, but he is making a mark. If you don't believe me, just think about this. All these rallies where all these Black Lives Matter and all these college kids were showing up and disrupting the rallies and taunting and, in some cases, interacting violently one way or the other. What was happening, all these people were Sanders supporters. They all voiced that they were Bernie Sanders supporters. They, MoveOn.org acknowledged that they were mentoring Black Lives Matter people in the art of community organizing, how to disrupt, how to gain attention in the media through disruption. So and MoveOn.org, as we pointed out earlier, was an organization that was created to help protect Bill Clinton during the Lewinsky scandal. They were basically the damage control group. They were the anti-propaganda group. They had their own propaganda, putting it out there that Bill Clinton is such a nice guy, okay? Anyway, one of the biggest charges has been leveled by Bernie Sanders against Clinton, and she's constantly out here, I've got scars to prove how I've stood up to Wall Street, and Bernie Sanders is out there telling people untruths about me in terms of my corporate ties, and I'm in bed with corporations and all this other stuff, and that's just so untrue. I've been fighting this from the get-go, just like Bernie Sanders has, and there's nothing that documents that as being truth. We heard Joe Biden in the first hour talk about this has never been an issue for Clinton, whereas it's always been an issue for Bernie. And Clinton is just trying to change her way. She's trying to go down that path of flip-flopping in order to gain support from a base that she, I'm sure, believes is stupid enough to not remember the past. And they may be. Clinton supporters probably don't remember the past. Most of them can't tell you anything she's done. Think about that. Think about how many times we've talked about on this show people talking about what she has done and not being able to say, I love Hillary Clinton. She's a great leader. She's a great senator. Dianne Feinstein last week, can't remember anything that Hillary Clinton did in her 8+ years as senator. But, of course, 8+ years in the Senate is not enough time to actually do anything, according to Feinstein. So nobody can really talk about what Hillary Clinton has done, but we all know who Hillary Clinton has supported. And we have that documentation. I'm going to share it with you right after we get back from our break here. It's time for our short break. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Okay, we are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, and I want to continue here with what I was talking about before the break here. This flip-flopping of Hillary Clinton, her claim that all these charges that Bernie Sanders levels against her are just unfounded, untrue, and by golly, she's getting tired of it, and she just wishes Bernie would get off her case, kind of thing. But, I'll say this for Bernie Sanders. I think the guy is crazy, bat crap crazy, all right? But for some reason, I guess that's what it takes to be able to talk articulately about your opponent, because everything he has said about Hillary Clinton has been spot on. He has not exaggerated. He has not said anything any more than what we know to be true. Anybody that takes the time to go out and do just a little bit of research. But as we have said, the majority of people that support Hillary Clinton do not know anything about her, really. For as long as this woman has been in the political arena, her supporters still know very little about who she is and what she's done, other than the fact that she's pro-abortion. I think if you talk to the majority of women out there, because that's what the war on women is about. Don't buy into this lie that the war on women is about white men wanting to keep women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And that's really how they've tried to portray the Republican Party. Now, the Republican Party has not made any really intense attempts to discount this at all. They don't really attempt to defend themselves against anything, because today's Republican Congress and the entire Republican Congress is they're not in the business of governing. They're in the business of preserving their positions. Okay, so you can get out there. We played clips on this show. I've seen the stuff out there. If you watch news, you've seen the stuff out there where people are asked to name something that Hillary Clinton has done, and you get crickets. There's nobody can tell you any bill she's authored, anything that she's co-authored. Dianne Feinstein, 2 weeks ago, couldn't name anything that Hillary Clinton has done as a senator, but she was still a good senator, because it doesn't mean that you really do anything to be a good senator. You just kind of toe the line. You line up on the establishment talking points, and you follow just like nice, behaving little sheep. But see, Clinton didn't get into politics for that purpose. She got into politics for personal gain. I think that's more than evident. Whereas Barack Obama actually got into politics to change things. I believe that's what he got in, and I think that's what he thinks he needs to do, and that's what drives his agenda, and that's his motivation. The only thing Hillary Clinton wants to change is the numbers in her bank account. I've come to that conclusion about her. So when it comes to using her position, whether it be as a senator or as the Secretary of State or as the First Lady, when she was the First Lady, or anything else that she's done in her life, it's all been about personal gain. Now, the charges by Bernie Sanders are true and relevant, and that is that Hillary Clinton is in the pockets of the very corporations and special interests that she's now out on the campaign trail bashing. And these deals, these trade deals that Obama has done with Panama, Colombia, and I believe she mentioned South Korea, these are deals by which they have profited and not the American people. I don't know of any jobs that were created in any trade deal with South Korea or Colombia or even Panama for that matter. Hillary Clinton's out there telling us, there's 70,000 jobs coming up from Panama. They probably don't have 70,000 people down there. I don't know how many people they got, but how can an industry be big enough to generate jobs here to supply down there? I'm sure that's what they're saying. We would make parts and we would be suppliers to corporations down there that would build something. What do they build down there? Taco stands? I don't know. I don't know of anything. Do you ever read the tag on anything you've ever bought made in Panama? I haven't. Anyway, back to the corporate side of this thing. This is what I want to get at, okay? The Clinton Foundation, according this is an article I've read in Newsmax, written by Kathy Burke, came out today. I'm going to read you the first few paragraphs because it's easier if I just read it, because if I try to paraphrase it, I might screw up the information. The Clinton Foundation accepted millions of dollars from major fossil fuel companies, including those lobbying the State Department before its 2009 approval of a controversial pipeline, the International Business Times reports. Okay? So, and we're saying here the Clinton Foundation has accepted millions of dollars, including those lobbying the State Department before its 2009 approval of a controversial pipeline. Okay, what controversial pipeline are we talking about? It can't be the Keystone Pipeline. Could it? Could it have been the Keystone Pipeline? Wow, I don't know. Let's find out. The report comes on the heels of Clinton's angry denial of taking money from fossil fuel companies, accusing rival Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign of lying about her. All right? So what they're saying is, they're lying. Clinton is, like I said, Clinton is saying the Sanders camp is lying about her ties to special interests and lobbyists. The IB Times, citing federal lobbying records, reports Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and a trade group funded by ExxonMobil lobbied the State Department when Clinton headed it as Secretary of State on the issue of oil sands in the months prior to the department's approval of a 400-mile pipeline to carry 450,000 barrels of oil a day from the Canadian oil sands to Wisconsin. So apparently, we're not talking about the Keystone Pipeline. There was another pipeline coming in from Canada that went to Wisconsin, 400 miles, 450,000 barrels of oil a day, and Hillary Clinton was taking money through her Clinton Foundation, and she was being lobbied by Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and ExxonMobil. Wow. And here she's out here telling us about she was against the Keystone Pipeline because of why? The environmental impact on the country and the environment, and yet she was headed up and joined forces to get the approval. See, why wasn't this ever brought up when the Keystone Pipeline was being debated? That Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were behind a 400-mile pipeline coming into Wisconsin from Canada. Nobody ever talked about that. According to the IB Times, the oil companies gave between $2.5 million and $3 million to the Clinton Foundation. On top of money Their executives and lobbyists delivered to Clinton's campaign and super PAC in her 2008 presidential bid, the year before the State Department approved the pipeline. So she was appointed to the State Department after she lost the election in 2008, and in 2009, this pipeline was approved. She received money between $2.5 and $3 million to the Clinton Foundation, as well as money to her super PAC by the executives of these companies. Wow. So what happened here? In the year prior to the approval, Chevron's Lawrence Humphreys was a top fundraising bundler for Clinton's 2000 presidential bid. Chevron's Lawrence Humphreys was a bundler for Hillary Clinton in 2008 when she ran for president. They raised more than $100,000, and they let's see what else they have. Chevron has given between $500,000 and $1 million to the foundation, meaning the Clinton Foundation, while ExxonMobil has delivered roughly $2 million to the foundation since 2009, and nearly $17 million to another nonprofit group co-founded by Hillary Clinton, and ConocoPhillips has given between $10,000 and $25,000. Wow. So Hillary Clinton apparently has another nonprofit group out there. I don't know what the name of it is. They don't state it here. But $17 million to another nonprofit group founded by Hillary Clinton, co-founded by Hillary Clinton. I wonder what that group is. We'll have to find out what that is. But here it is. The woman who's claiming to be going to rein in Wall Street, and we're gonna clean up the environment, renewable energy, the whole 9 yards, touting the Obama platform of renewable energy, creative destruction, and destruction of the fossil industry. Did she not say just a few weeks ago that she was going to kill? What was it? She said, I think it was the coal industry. She's going to stop the coal industry. We heard that from Obama. That was one of his big things. We're going to destroy the coal industry. We're going to destroy the fossil fuel industry. She's taken millions and millions of dollars funneled through her campaign or her foundation, the Clinton Foundation. Wow. Just think about that, folks. And this woman is trying to now I guess she's just banking on the 60% of the Democrats out there that can't even tell you anything that she's done during the time that she was First Lady, during the time she was a senator in New York, during her time as Secretary of State. All those years, 50-plus years in the political arena, nobody is yet to be able to name anything that she's done, except she supports women's rights to abortion. That's about the only thing you're going to get out of anybody that has the IQ of seaweed in the Democrat Party. That's her claim to fame. She's been fighting for women. She's been fighting for women for the right to kill their unborn children. That is her accomplishment. You know, I often wonder, she's now a grandmother, they say, and I often wonder if she ever thinks when she's looking at her grandchild about how many deaths she is responsible for in supporting abortion, out there campaigning about abortion. Okay? So, here we go. Yeah, I think it was West Virginia. I got Joe Hakos. He's on his back. He's laying on his back right now. He's shooting me stuff. She's out there to kill the coal industry in West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Boy, I bet she wins those primaries, huh? But who knows? Who knows if they're mostly Democrats? They don't remember. They don't know any. They probably wouldn't remember what she said yesterday. She can go out tomorrow and change it all back, and nobody will remember the day after that. Because the people that support people like Hillary Clinton are dumb as rocks. If you are a clear Clinton supporter, Hillary Clinton supporter, I'm sorry, you are as dumb as a rock. You are the only thing that may salvage you is listening to this show. That may. If you listen long enough, you may experience a resurrection into the light. Okay? So anyway, hey, we are up almost here at the bottom of the hour. When we get back, I want to talk just a little bit more about Hillary Clinton here as to how she is addressing the popularity of Bernie Sanders. Yes, folks, she's claiming that Bernie Sanders doesn't represent the true Democrat ideology. Of course, when has Bernie Sanders ever said he did? He has never claimed to be a Democrat. He is an independent who has acknowledged He ran as a Democrat to get into, or he votes with the Democrats because he had plans of running for president someday. Imagine that. Somebody that's actually honest about his intent, maybe dumber than a rock, but is honest about his intent. I have more respect for Bernie Sanders than I do almost anybody in this race right now. Not because of what he believes, but because he doesn't lie about it. I love a guy that can come out and say, this is what I believe. Maybe he can't explain it all the time, but he doesn't back down and he doesn't change his course. You got to respect a guy like that, whether you like it or not. It's time right now for Moments of Madness, and we'll be back with more. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. Today on Moments of Madness. The recent violence that has begun to appear across the country at Donald Trump rallies underscores the truth embedded in the old adage, those who failed to learn from history are too often the idiots that blindly repeat it. Beginning with the removal of Black Lives Matter activists in Georgia, who may have, in all fairness, just wanted to stand silently in protest during Trump's speech, to the sucker punching of a protester being removed for disrupting Trump's speech in North Carolina by a Willie Nelson-looking cowboy, to the 37 arrests for assault, including a very bloody protester in St. Louis, to the nearly riotous outburst in Chicago that led to the hospitalization of several attendees, among them a MoveOn.org organizer. These series of incidences resurrect for those of us older to remember the 1968 Democratic National Convention. The 68 Democratic Convention was a brokered convention brought about by Lyndon Johnson declining to run for re-election, along with the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy within a month of each other. Kennedy was running a close second to then Vice President Hubert Humphrey, who had garnered establishment delegates outside traditional primary protocol. Humphrey was the establishment choice. Kennedy, an anti-Vietnam supporter, the people's savior. Also present at the 68 convention was the anti-establishment movement Youth International Party, known as YIPPY, led by Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin, and the National Mobilization Committee to End the War in Vietnam, called MOBI, led by David Dellinger. Over the course of 4 days, violence routinely erupted on the streets of Chicago, resulting in 589 arrests, 119 and 100 injuries to police and protesters, respectively, and the death of a 17-year-old stopped for a curfew violation who pulled a weapon and fired upon officers. Here's the madness. Parallels between the 68 convention and what we see playing out today are more than eerie. For instance, there is once again the prospect of a DNC brokered convention, this time to ensure an establishment nominee wins with superdelegates should the current frontrunner with more than a shady past be indicted. Her opponent is a popular socialist lauded by the college crowd who feels the burn. Just as chilling is the even more serious prospect of a GOP brokered convention to stop a populist who refuses to play by establishment rules and in doing so has captured demographics establishment candidates can only dream of. Following the 68 convention, another radical group formed at Ann Arbor, Michigan by Students for a Democratic Society called SDS. Founded by a radicalized Bill Ayers, the Weather Underground capitalized on the anti-Vietnam movement and the rise of the Black Panthers. The Weathermen, as they came to be called, participated in bombings of police stations and government installations like the Pentagon, along with riots that coincided with the trial of the Chicago 7, those who had been arrested on conspiracy charges the year before during the 68 Democratic Convention. Today, college campuses across the country have their own underground. Black Lives Matter, many of them who are being trained by MoveOn.org, who we now see showing up in larger and larger number at Trump rallies. The only impartiality they display is the fact they squeeze in at an occasional Clinton event on their quest to whine and moan about their identity dilemma. And who do these self-proclaimed disenfranchised college youths look for inspiration? None other than Bernie Sanders, self-avowed democratic socialist who spews forth his own revolutionary rhetoric of government overthrow through redistribution economics. Yes, the parallels are as uncanny as they are eerie. Even more frightening, though, is the prospect this time around. While everyone acknowledges the inmates are running the asylum, no one in charge seems to care enough to put any of them back in their straitjackets. My guess is they just want to watch history repeat itself. Unfortunately, there are enough idiots running the streets to make it so. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness.
catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. We are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. And I'm on a rant here about Hillary Clinton most of the day today. Now, I want to kind of shift gears here. What we've been talking about is Clinton's, flip-flopping on policy. She has always been for anything that she can gain personally from. I think Bill was more about popularity. I think he has that same narcissistic quality that Barack Obama has, and that's acceptance, seeking acceptance and approval. I think that gauges and motivates a lot of what Bill Clinton was about and is about. Of course, now I think he's campaigning because he owes his wife one. She could have wrecked his political career, and she didn't. But, of course, even that was, I think, for the most part, for her own personal gain, because one day she wanted to be, queen honcho kind of thing, but she wanted to be rich. I think that's been the driving force behind Hillary Clinton. It's money. With Bill Clinton, I don't know that it's so much power. I think it's more popularity. Obama's popularity and power, because he finds popularity in power, vice versa, that kind of thing. And anyway, so I'm talking about this flip-flopping on Hillary and how she has been kind of exposed. Well, she has been exposed. Not that anybody's really listening. Not that Hillary supporters really listen to anything that's being said. Any facts being presented are just concoctions of vast right-wing conspiracies or sexist men that just want to keep women down. Hillary Clinton probably could be the icon for the feminist Nazi movement. And the only thing, her only real claim to fame is that she supports killing unborn children. Now, so what she's done, she's tried this two-prong approach. One is trying to hijack Bernie Sanders' ideology and portray it as her own, while at the same time denying that it really has any socialistic tendencies. It's really it's democracy. It's really about democracy. Remember, yesterday we talked in this show in depth about the difference between democracy and republicanism. Democracy is ruled by the mob. Okay, Hillary Clinton has her own mob, as does Bernie Sanders. So what we have here is this idea that, one, portray yourself as being like Bernie Sanders, but more practical, more pragmatic, and two, questioning who Bernie Sanders is. I don't know. Apparently, she never has listened to Bernie Sanders explain who he is. He is not a Democrat any more than Rand Paul or Ron Paul were Republicans. They joined the Republican Party so they could run because they knew running as libertarians or independents wouldn't get them enough support. They wouldn't have any money behind them. There'd be no support. Those are still minority factions in the United States. Valid factions nonetheless, but minorities also. They don't have a large enough majority to make a difference. So Rand Paul and Ron Paul have run as Republicans. And, for that reason, there's more votes with the Republican Party. Bernie Sanders, same thing with the Democrat Party. He has supported the Democrat Party. He joined the Democrat Party, but he never tells you he's a Democrat. He tells you he's an independent. He is an independent Democratic socialist. He's never hidden that fact. So Hillary's out there trying to bring into question whether he's actually a member of the party. That's the point. Is he really a member of the Democrat Party, or is he using the Democrat Party to perpetuate a scam on the American people? Well, that qualifies you to be a Democrat if you're running a scam on the American people, okay? But you see what's going on here. It's just a matter of perception, a matter of choice of words, and how you want to play it. Liberals speak, it can be anything on any given day. I can be a Democrat today. I can be pragmatic tomorrow. I can be a centralist. I can be a leftist. Hillary Clinton herself has now labeled herself as a progressive. I'm a progressive that likes to get things done. I guess as opposed to progressives who don't like to get things done. I don't know how that translates. Barack Obama's a progressive who likes to get things done. That kind of stuff. So she's trying to discount the relevancy of Bernie Sanders as a Democrat. And so she comes out with this thing in an interview with MSNBC Morning Joe, and she is asked why she hasn't been able to attract the kind of voters that packed the Vermont senator's rally. See, Bernie Sanders is drawing bigger crowds than Hillary Clinton. And that's because even though people are voting for Hillary Clinton, I guess they're not that excited to get up and go stand in a line to go see her. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. Those orange jumpsuits get real old real fast. All right, now, she says, well, look, I think it's exciting to be, in effect, protesting. I did that a long time ago when I was in my 20s, and I totally get the attraction of this. But she says, there's a persistent, organized effort to misrepresent my record, and I don't appreciate that. Well, we just revealed to you a good deal of her record and what she's about. Bernie Sanders is not misrepresenting Hillary Clinton at all. Now, she goes on, to say, well, he never talks about George W. Bush. He never blames Bush for anything. No, because Bernie Sanders' gig is blaming corporate America for everything. It doesn't matter. Presidents don't serve in corporate America, at least while they're president. So that's irrelevant to him. His attack, his target, his enemy is capitalism. All right? Clinton says she isn't sure that Sanders is a real Democrat. I guess she was asked, is he a real Democrat? I guess this is a revised version of the question that was asked by Chris Matthews of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. What is a Democratic Socialist? And nobody could answer that, or nobody wanted to answer that. She goes, I can't answer that. He's a relatively new Democrat. This guy's been around for how many terms in the Senate? He's a relatively new Democrat. And in fact, I'm not even sure he is one. He's running as one, so I don't know quite how to characterize him. I'll leave that to him. See, it's this attempt now to say Bernie Sanders is just using the Democrat Party to get into office. Well, Bernie Sanders has never denied that that was his intent. He's an independent that votes with the Democrats and who has always had a desire to run and become president because he's looking for a quote-unquote political revolution. He is a socialist, and he believes that the United States will be better served under the ideologies and the principles that socialism expounds on. Okay, so Sanders has never hidden who he is, any more than Obama's actually ever hidden who he is. Clinton is the one that hides who she is because she'll only reveal what plays to her advantage. I want to play you a clip here. I can do this real quick here before we go to the break. This is back in 1994. So Hillary Clinton is telling us she doesn't know who Bernie Sanders is. Well, you remember back in 1994 when Hillary Clinton was trying to tout her own form of Obamacare? It was called the Health Security Act, I believe was the name of it. What was the actual name of that? The Health Security Act, I believe it was what it was called. But anyway, I'm going to play this clip for you, and let's see if she remembers who Bernie Sanders was back then. This is Hillary Clinton, 1994, when she's trying to get the Hillary Clinton version of Obamacare into Congress.
Grateful for the leadership that many people are giving to this great reform effort. And I'm grateful that Congressman Sanders would join us today from Vermont. And I am particularly pleased that Congressman Sweat would announce his endorsement of the health care reform, the Health Security Act, today here at his home state.
All right, there it is. Hillary Clinton, the Health Security Act, 1994. And who is she thanking for supporting and endorsing her? None other than Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders from the state of Vermont. So Bernie Sanders was on board with her a long time ago. And yet she's sitting here now telling us she doesn't even know who Bernie Sanders is. Doesn't even know if he's a Democrat or not. Well, whether he was a Democrat or not, he supported you back in 1994 when you tried to push your own form of health care reform. And he was standing there, by the way, if you saw the video of this, guess what? He was standing right behind her. Get a load of that. We got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. Okay, we are back. Coming into the last segment of the show here for today, and I hope you're getting something out of this. I hope you get something out of every one of our shows. Not, there's some times where sometimes I get off the air and I wonder, geez, did I actually say anything of any relevance? Because sometimes the thoughts come faster than my mouth or my brain can engage. And I sometimes I find myself now having to listen to my own archive sometimes. Make sure, did I say that right? Or how about this? Did I actually say that? That kind of thing. But we're talking about, this is Hillary Clinton Day here at the Conservative Syndicate in honor of the Wisconsin win of Senator Ted Cruz yesterday. Very happy to see him win to the degree that he did. Yes. So, yes, the message today is Hillary sucks, and everybody should know it. And we're just trying to tell you why. because a lot of people I love Hillary or I hate Hillary. Very few people can tell you why, on one side or the other. We can tell you why. She's dishonest, she's corrupt, she's unethical, and I think she's Looney Tune. I think, at least Uncle Bernie says what he believes and he doesn't dance around with it. I think Hillary Clinton is in early stages of political Alzheimer's, which is, don't judge me by what I did yesterday, judge me by what I'm telling you I'm going to do today. That kind of thing. What have you done for me lately? That old Janet Jackson song. What have you done for me lately? Getting back to some of the facts here. We're talking earlier about her ties with the oil industry and the passing of the legislation or the bill or the permits, whatever it is they did, that allowed a 400-mile pipeline to come down from Canada to Wisconsin. Nobody talked about that, but everybody was talking about how bad the Keystone Pipeline would be coming down from Canada down to the south. I guess coming a little bit farther in the United States was a little more detrimental to the environment kind of thing. Or perhaps, just perhaps, the people involved in the Keystone Pipeline weren't willing to funnel money into the Clinton Foundation. Maybe that was her reason, or because it was politically expedient to do so, because Barack Obama was toting it, it was popular, and the environmentalist wackos needed to be thrown a bone. I don't know, whatever combination of things happened. I'm going to go to an interview now Hillary Clinton gave last week on Meet the Press, and there were several things that she said there. A lot of it repetition in terms of discounting her ties to corporate America and Wall Street special interests. But there were some other things that were covered in this thing. And it just points to the fact that Hillary Clinton just believes she can lie. And I would imagine her sociopathic, borderline psychopathic mindset, she's not really lying. Liberals always believe the end justifies the means. If you do something dishonest and unethical, if it gets you to the goal of helping the people, quote unquote, it's justifiable. Hillary Clinton downplayed criticisms about the use of her private email server as Secretary of State and her connections to the financial industry in a Sunday interview, NBC's Meet the Press. But were Clinton's statements true? PolitiFact wanted to find out. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make any endorsement of PolitiFact. I have seen these guys are about as leftist as you're going to find in terms of being nonpartisan, truth finder, fact checkers. Okay, they're not the most honest people, upright people. They're kind of like Snopes. Snopes. Everybody thinks Snopes is a really ethical operation. No, they're not. But it is worthy to note that they're even reporting it. So I'm going to bring it up. I'll use them because there really is no real fact checker out there in terms of really checking any of these candidates, is what they're saying. Chuck Todd asked Clinton about getting speaking fees at places like Goldman Sachs, which, by the way, Heidi Cruz worked at. There's a weird relationship for you, okay? And $225,000. And she says, I'm the only candidate in the Democratic Party, or actually on either side, who Wall Street financiers and hedge fund managers are actually running ads against. So I find this, again, kind of, circular way of question my record. She's saying basically, I'm the only one that Wall Street is actually campaigning against. And by the way, hedge fund managers, I thought that was a weird twist of phrase. Her son-in-law is a hedge fund manager. By the way, has been investigated for having a hedge fund that was a shell group. I wonder where that money was coming from. Perhaps going into the Clinton Foundation? We may never know. But the point being is that she's saying that the financiers out there on Wall Street and hedge fund managers are actually running ads against her. Has anybody told George Soros that? I don't know. So she finds it disruptive that they're questioning her record. So this fact check, PolitiFact, went out and said, hey, we're going to talk to these people. They consulted Robert McGuire of the Center for Responsive Politics and Nancy Watsman at the Political TV Ad Archive. Their data shows that Clinton's statements are inaccurate. The trouble with Clinton's claim is Wall Street financiers and hedge fund managers aren't a monolithic group. Some have even expressed their support for Clinton and Sanders, and their donations are dispersed amongst Republican and Democratic groups. We've talked about this before. People with money play both sides of the game. Donald Trump is a perfect example of that. Donald Trump has played both sides. He has admitted and acknowledged he's thrown money at Democrats, he's thrown money at Republicans. I pay, they play. These are things he has said, and this is what these people are saying. No, these hedge fund people and these financiers, they throw money at both sides because they're hoping whoever wins will pander to them as a special interest or a lobbyist group. That's the way politics works. That is, my friends, the essence of the establishment. Okay? The essence of the establishment. They play both sides. Why do you think the establishment is willing to give up the White House? It's to preserve the power and wealth that they have amassed. Hillary Clinton in the White House will not change the course of action for the establishment on either side because they know how to play both sides against the middle. It says, while Clinton has been the target of more attack ads than Sanders, more money from the financial industry has been spent hitting on the Republicans much more than the Democrats. In fact, the candidate subject to the most Wall Street funded hits is actually Donald Trump. Why is that? Because Wall Street is part of the establishment. They don't want Donald Trump in there. Donald Trump is the establishment. But Donald Trump is a player also. They don't want that exposed. They don't want the deal maker in there because he would expose the process by which they make deals. Donald Trump can use that knowledge to bully the establishment into doing what he wants. That's why he is a threat to the establishment. It's not the politicians. The politicians could care less who is in the White House. As long as their positions in the Senate and the House are preserved, it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, or anybody else for that matter. So Donald Trump is received the most campaign funds against him from Wall Street. Why? Because they know Trump knows the game. That is not an endorsement of Trump. Don't take it that way. I'm just pointing out the facts as they are. Okay? Most of the campaigns that are out there against Clinton are coming from conservative groups. American Crossroads, Future 45, groups like this that are out against them, out against Hillary Clinton. The issue with Clinton's emails. She says that she acknowledged her private email server was a mistake, and she has asserted that all of her work-related correspondence was sent using government-operated email servers, which means everything should be sitting in a government file. She's saying everything has been released. Well, that's not true. That's not true because we just find out today, or 2 days ago, yesterday, that Hillary Clinton withheld emails from the State Department. The State Department has acknowledged that she withheld emails from them. And that's why the State Department is out there now telling them, we don't want Clinton's aides to testify because we may find out exactly how much the State Department didn't even know what Hillary Clinton was doing. That would be egg on their face, would it not? We're out of time for today, folks. We'll pick this up again tomorrow. And enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the show. I thank you for your loyalty. Best wishes to everybody out there. And we'll be back tomorrow. Joe will be back with us tomorrow, at least for a little while. And we love you guys. And just, hey, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We'll be back tomorrow. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times.
That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.